So yesterday, I got a PlayStation Vita in that was as is not working, and as you can see, I managed to get it working. It wasn't charging, and it ended up being an issue around the charge port. So when I turn these on and I check them out, generally I will sign in with an account that I've had for a while, like a test account, so that I can make sure online functionality works with Wi-Fi, and in this case with the Vita, the storefront. But as I was sitting here looking at it, I said, you know what? We don't really know when Sony's going to take this thing away, the storefront that is for the Vita, and when it's going to go offline, since that could legitimately happen at any time now. Why not go ahead, get it on camera, and sort of explore the shop, the PlayStation Store for the Vita a bit here, and see where we are now in 2025, because I think, you know what, it will somewhat surprise people, considering it's believed that it's just completely broken at times, and it can be, but the Vita store right now is actually pretty cool, and I think in some cases worth making purchases before it completely goes away. So if you guys enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let me know if you've been using your Vita or going online with it recently. And as reason, we'll just say this year, really. So when you first log in, this is what you're going to see on the storefront. You see PS Vita games, PS Vita only, free to play. They had an entire indie section. Remember, this was, I mean, if you think about how the Vitas run, early 2010s, we'll say, this was good to see indies kind of get this section, as it wasn't until, I mean, we've seen the push for indies with Sony and the PlayStation 4, sure, that was a thing, but before that, the PS3 was okay for Vita for indies, but the 360 had their Xbox Live Arcade that was a very interesting time. Cross-platform games, classics, demos, tons of demos, by the way. If you just picked up a Vita and you can sign in online with it, there are so many like free demos you can just download to try out and just check out the game itself, like MotorStorm or Odin Sphere, just to name a few here. Rainbow Moon, Terraria. There's an Uncharted demo even for Golden Abyss, which that's still, I think, like one of the best looking Vita games you can play right now. So if you just want kind of a graphical showcase, that might be the one there. But yeah, we used to have plenty of demos would drop on the Vita, just like free ones. You had themes. That's a big thing. People keep calling for that for Nintendo. There are tons of different themes you can get here. Some of them based on different games. Others just interesting ideas and designs that get thrown up there. Apps. Now, I think the YouTube app was discontinued, but there's like Weather Nation. I remember, yeah, that's right, baseball was on here. I used my Vita for a time because this is the OLED one, so it had a really nice screen. I would use that for video at one of the old stores where I would just sit around and repair stuff. It worked really well, and I had the stand, so it would sit at a 45-ish degree angle, and I could have Netflix or whatever playing on it, and it looked awesome on the screen. Let's check what the top downloads are. Also, you can see the online store is pretty snappy on the Vita. I mean, I'm jumping around well. Minecraft, #1 game. Go figure. Is that shocking? Not really. God of War Collection on the Vita is #2, though, and then Persona 4. Wow, okay, so this is the other thing about this. These games aren't that expensive. I mean, well, compare it to what we see with the physical market for the Vita right now. $10 for Jak and Daxter Collection. And you can read it there. It has all the different Jak games 1, 2, and 3 for $10. Now, the obvious thing that can trip you up is it's 3 gigabytes. I should have looked to see, there is a memory card in here too, so I made out really well for this, but that's the thing. The memory cards, they get eaten up pretty quick. Although Street Fighter X Cross Tekken is $40, God Eater 2 is $40. So they're not all like cheap. How am I at $10? They're not all like stupid cheap or anything, but based on like even God of War Collection at $15, based on what I see Vita games go for now, which they've just inflated as we've gone along anyway. They're kind of rare as it is. This is a good way to actually get quite a few games for cheap. Let's see what's in free to play right now. Anything really? Oh, there's Fat Princess Piece of Cake. Anything that really jumps out other than that? Not really. Oh, the PlayStation Vita Fireworks. Oh, that's cool. Cross-platform games. Let's see. I Am Hero, Jak and what was that? Jak and Jill DX, Kung Fu Rabbit. So we have some in here. Okay, this is good. Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. There we are. Which I'm gonna come back to all of that because that to me is still the best part by far the classics category, guys. I'm telling you, they have PS1, they have PSP games in here, and they're well priced. Although here's Adventures to Go for $15, but you can see there's $3, $4, $5 games in here. A Luncher doesn't have a price next to it. Okay, no, it's still up. PS1 Classic. I remember with my Vita, I was collecting a bunch of them. And I think I even bought some on this account. I had to look to see. I think I have one of the Mega Mans. Go figure. I think I have one of the Mega Man X games, if I'm not mistaken, that I had bought on this account. Not even like Legends. I think it was X5. I feel like. No? I did. Okay, this is one of the ones I bought. Mega Man X5 with a test account. We'd still want to play games on the different systems that we'd try out. I remember one point I was like, I'm gonna buy a Mega Man game. Why not? So $6. But the classics, guys, this is it right here. You can get all right, yeah. So Mega Man Legends 2, $10. And then they play well on here too. Although I don't see the first one. So I feel like the first one was on here, and I think they delisted some of these, if I'm not mistaken. Peace Walker. $20. You know what? Peace Walker is still a very good game. I would spend 20 on that one. Portable Ops Plus, how much is that? $10. Let's go look at, oh, there was Mortal Kombat. That was the Vita one, I think, or the PSP one, sorry. Yeah, Mortal Kombat Unchained. How much is that? That's $10. That's the nice thing, is it plays PSP games pretty well, too. Let me look for Final Fantasy. Those should all still be up here. Yeah, well, there's 3. That's the PSP. I think that's like the remake one they did. There's Tactics, that great game. Great game, War of the Lions. That's before that's the PS1. The PSP game, no, the PSP game, they did a rewrite for it. And they tried to make it sound less old school, I guess, old-timey. Driver 76. Huh. I just see those Final Fantasies. I feel like we used to have a bunch of them in there. I'm trying to remember what was here, because things definitely got delisted over time. Oh, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. Okay, is that in there or no? Oh, so there's nothing in there. Interesting. It's like kind of buy them while you can. Herc's Adventure, that was an expensive PS1 game, $6. And what we had recently was we had Stardew Valley go into PlayStation Plus, and you could claim it on the Vita if you sign in with your PlayStation Plus enabled account. It would work fine, which is pretty cool. Oh, there's Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. That is up to $30. Well, I know how that goes with Legend of Heroes. It's usually pretty expensive. Okay, there we go. Lunar. $15. PSP game. Man, there's some classics still on here. This is probably the biggest draw right now, is just going on here and grabbing classic games. As you can just see they're pretty cheap. Let's go back. Let's take a look at some of the Vita games themselves. I want to see what was the last new release they have on here. If I just okay, there we go. Steam Tactics, that came out in 2020. So they were at least tracking through 5 years ago, I guess. Wow, that was kind of it there. So not exactly the best section. Let's look at the featured section real quick. Weekly deals. We'll see if any deals are going on. Spirit Hunter, NG. Yeah, nothing really jumping out for the featured. Let's see, weekly deals. Anything? Okay, there we go. Well, some of these are deals. It's all $35 one right away. Okay, Steins Gate 0. Lara Croft Go. No, I think what a lot of people would also look towards are any of like the Vita only games, since some of these should be cheaper than their retail counterparts right now. I say retail, secondhand market counterparts. As we already saw, something like God of War, that collection being 15, or Jack and Daxter collection. Black Ops Declassified, how much is that? It's still up. Oh, it's $50. Hey, that's how it goes, right, with Call of Duty. 2.5 gigabytes. So that's what I mean. Depending on depending on what size memory card you have, it's going to be full with 1 or 2 games. Although apparently Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified still has people playing, by the way. There's cell damage on the Vita. So I was surprised to hear that. I think Ryan still does a series where he'll go online with the Vita now and every year, I think, and he still finds people on Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, which is still interesting to me because I tried playing it on the Vita TV, I think, at one point, and it's interesting if you stretch it out onto large screen. Probably looks better here, as I'd expect, smaller screen OLED display like this even. There's Madden NFL 13. Oh, I guess they took that away. I don't see it here anymore. I'm not sure. That's the one thing you're going to run into when you navigate around this store. Here's something where it's just a broken image. It's not like it's perfect, okay? There is some stuff that's just messed up here. But, okay, there's Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty HD Edition. It's not listed. 3, also not listed. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, those games didn't run the best on the Vita, but it was really cool to see them there. 15 The Show, I guess, was the last one. And it seems like a lot of... Oh, wait, nope, that's there. Or at least the extra things are there. Hold on, you can buy currency for it, but you can't buy the game? That's interesting. One of these has to have it, right? No. No, yeah, I guess a lot of these sports games... Oh, that's just broken there. Same thing, right? It's a lot of the points. A lot of the sports games, I guess, just get taken away. Mortal Kombat, all right, that's a good... This was a good version of the game. I mean, if you blow it up on a screen, it doesn't look incredible or anything, but it held a good frame rate. I remember when I played this on the Vita, those were one of the shocking games, was playing Mortal Kombat on the go, because we played so much of it on the Xbox 360 back in the day. It was so interesting to see that in handheld form. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Oh, look, we even got some screenshots of it. That's what I mean. Some of the listings feel very like feature complete, and then other ones just have a busted image. But that's what's going to happen when you have a store that, while it is still up and it's not as broken as I would expect it to be, they don't maintain it completely, right? Oh, wow, Sigma Plus, that is still $35 on here. Wow. 2.3 gigabytes too. Sigma 2 Plus, $40. Well, here's Oddworld Munch's Odyssey HD. That's a good one. $10. You know what? That's not bad. Munch's Odyssey, still an awesome game. It was such an interesting thing to see to pop up I remember on the original Xbox back in the day. One of the games that actually kind of blew my mind a bit back then. And then Stranger's Wrath HD. That's another good one. It's interesting. I look back on the Vita now, but the first person shooters, now we're used to having these console games on the go with something like the Switch. Having a game like this where it's this first person shooter on the Vita was still mind blowing back then, because we were coming off of the PSP. It did its best, but it was still very limited. But coming off of that generation to this was like incredible. The Vita, I mean, the screen itself stands up well. I know some of these games, as you go through and look at them, especially the 3D heavy games, they're going to fall apart when you blow up the image more and more. But man, some of these games still work really well on this screen, like shrunken down. There's Ratchet and Clank Collection. Okay, $20. That's not bad, actually. So you can see you have Ratchet and Clank, you have Going Commando, and Up Your Arsenal. So 3 of the games here. That's pretty good. And then they also have the Full Frontal Assault for $10. There you go, $30. You get a bunch of Ratchet and Clank on here. Also not bad. Oh, Rayman Legends. Odd amount there to charge for $27. They also have a demo, so there you go. You can at least try that out. And then Rayman Origins on the Vita. So 27. Man, Ubisoft really likes their 27 with that. Revelations 2. $30. Oh, Resogun. Here we go. That's an easy one. Just go ahead and pick up Resogun. $15. That's a game that looks awesome on an OLED screen like this. There's Wipeout 2048, $13.49. Interesting. Interesting. And they have the online pass, right? So this was a way to have to get online. I think this was when we had online passes. So if you bought a game used, you would have to buy an online pass to then play online, which was pretty annoying. And it was like that weird, there were Maddens at the time that did it. Sports games like NBA and stuff did it as well. And it was just a way for them to combat the used market a bit. And it didn't last long, as you really don't have to do that anymore. Well, I guess for some of those games you do. But there's Windjammers. 15 bucks. Classic game there as well. Got Ease 8 for $40 still. Sheesh, have that still up there on the higher end. And then you also have a bunch of microtransactions. So there was no shortage of microtransactions for Ease 8. I'm curious if you add all this up, how much money it would cost to have all this with it. They do at least give you the language packs for free, so that's nice of them. So you have an Uncharted Golden Abyss for 15 bucks digitally. That's the thing. A lot of the Sony games that I've noticed are fairly priced for the most part. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on the Vita is not there. And that was another game, and I think just the effect, the cel-shaded nature to it, that looked legitimately impressive on the Vita. I remember when it came out, that was one of the games people were like, yo, you gotta check out Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Not like a lot of people were saying that at all really back then, but specifically on the Vita. And then Unit 13 was kind of like this is like this third-person shooter that I sort of feel like it was trying to be pumped up as like a SOCOM. I remember Unit 13 very briefly. It wasn't a game that I really got into that much, but there's even a free demo, so you can play the demo for it. You do have Silent Hill Book of Memories. Konami actually left this one up. It's $30. There's even a demo for it. There you go. You can try it out. And an expansion pack. Course. Konami at least left this up. Some of the other Konami games we've already come across where they were pulled down. So at least there's that. I'm not super familiar with this Silent Hill specific game anyway. Hey, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is only 10 bucks. That's a pretty good pickup too. 3.5 gigabytes. Better make sure you have that 8 gigabyte card. Here's the Star Wars Mega Bundle. Look at all the games. It has Battlefront 2, Renegade Squadron, Elite Squadron, Lego Star Wars 3. Most of them are like, you can see PSP games are labeling them as. Clone Wars, Republic Heroes, and then Force Unleashed on the PSP for 40 bucks. Okay, that's not bad actually all the way around, because that's what, $8 each. Okay, that's pretty good. I'd be curious to see how something like the Force Unleashed on the PSP has aged now. I'd just be interested to see, or even like Battlefront 2 as they have listed there. But hey, if you want Star Wars and you got a Vita and you're browsing through, go check out apparently the Mega Collection. They also have this media tab right here. And back then, you'd watch trailers after downloading them. That's just kind of how it was. So if you go in here, you have to download 112 megabytes for, this is a Sly Cooper Thieves in Time story trailer. And there we go. It only took maybe a minute or so to download the 113 megabytes. And you'll watch it locally right here on your Vita, in this case with the OLED screen. It looks nice. And that's just how it was back then. I remember the 360 was the same way, the PS3, you were mostly downloading trailers and then watching them from the dashboard, or here in this case, from the media application. But I will say, again, the Vita 1000 screen works really well for viewing media, playing games, yes, but just the screen itself really lends itself well to games like this with this art style, but watching videos back, especially local ones, not having to stream it where you can have compression and stuff. Anyway, that was just a quick look at the Vita store now in 2025. I will give Sony credit. The store itself works well. Like it's not slow or anything. It's fairly snappy for what you'd expect. And outside of some games clearly being pulled down as they're just not available underneath of the listing, there's a lot of stuff still here. And this is probably, I think, the best time if you're looking to either build up some of your digital library, we'll say, for Vita games where you can find them cheaper here versus, I mean, the secondhand market is just crazy right now where things are going for 2 to 3 times the amount they were back in, again, the 2010s for the Vita. But also the classic library is still very, very good here, where you can get PSP games, PS1 games and stuff and start loading them up on your Vita. Again, the only issue we run into is a space situation, since, yes, unfortunately, these memory cards are still not cheap. I know there are ways you can get around that in the hacking scene where you can use an SD card. I've done that myself, but then going online is still a gamble, and I usually don't recommend it, okay? But you can, I guess in that case, if you need to, you can roll the dice. However, really, really cool to see the store still functioning 14 years later or so, but who knows how much longer, so I wanted to get it here on video. So at least we can have this look back on if, say, it gets ripped down here in the next few months, next year or so, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think about the Vita storefront down below, especially if you're someone who still uses it. Leave some suggestions as to what people should look into here if they're maybe setting out on their first few purchases on the Vita PlayStation Store. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.